There's a strange kind of silence that falls over the camera world when a highly anticipated flagship doesn't show up on time. It's not disappointment exactly, more like a collective pause. The Nikon Z9 II was supposed to be that next defining leap, the camera that builds on one of the most respected mirrorless bodies of the modern era. Instead, what we're getting right now is uncertainty, and maybe that's what makes Nikon Z9 II's story so interesting. If the rumors are even halfway accurate, the Nikon Z9 II is shaping up to be less of an upgrade and more of a technological reset. At the heart of it all is a new stacked sensor, reportedly sitting around 46 megapixels. That might sound like a modest bump on paper, but the real story lies in speed. The sensor is rumored to be dramatically faster, fast enough to push flash sync speeds into territory that starts to mimic the advantages of a global shutter without actually using one. That's a bold engineering move, and if it works, it could give Nikon a unique edge, don't you think? Then there's the processing power. A next-generation X-Speed chip is expected, and this is where things get interesting. Nikon has historically used its flagship bodies to debut new processing architectures, which later trickle down to more affordable cameras. If that pattern holds, the Z9 II isn't just a camera, it's a preview of Nikon's entire future ecosystem. Autofocus is another area where expectations are high. The current Z9 already performs exceptionally well, but leaks suggest Nikon is aiming for a more refined, intelligent system, one that improves tracking consistency rather than just raw detection modes. In real-world terms, that means fewer missed shots, especially in unpredictable scenarios like wildlife or sports. Burst shooting is also getting a serious boost. Full-resolution RAW shooting at up to 60 frames per second is being discussed, alongside even faster speeds in cropped modes. That's not just impressive, it's approaching the limits of what photographers can realistically manage. Crazy bump! On the video side, things take an even more ambitious turn. There's talk of high-resolution RAW video, open gate recording, and deeper integration of cinema-focused features. This clearly reflects Nikon's growing interest in the video space, especially following its recent strategic moves in that direction. Add to that potential features like enhanced color profiles, expanded metadata support, and even improved viewfinder technology, and it's clear that Nikon isn't just iterating, they're trying to future-proof their flagship. Before getting lost in what's coming, it's worth grounding ourselves in what already exists. The Nikon Z9 is still, by any reasonable standard, a powerhouse. It hasn't aged in the way most cameras do, largely because it was built ahead of its time. Even now, it handles demanding workflows with ease, whether that's high-speed photography or professional video production. In fact, this is part of the reason the Z9 II faces such pressure. When a camera already solves most real-world problems, what does a successor actually need to fix? That's a question many professionals are quietly asking. For some, the Z9 already feels like a complete tool, reliable, versatile, and capable of delivering consistent results. It's not just about specs anymore, it's about usability, ergonomics, and trust. Interestingly, this has created a divide in expectations. Some users want the Z9 II to push boundaries aggressively, higher resolution, faster speeds, more video capabilities. Others are hoping for refinement instead of reinvention, better autofocus reliability, improved efficiency, and subtle quality of life upgrades. That tension is important, because if Nikon leans too far in one direction, they risk alienating part of their core audience. Delays in the camera industry are nothing new, but the Z9 II situation feels a bit more layered than usual. On the surface, the explanation is straightforward. Complex components are taking longer to develop and deliver. High-speed sensors, advanced processors, and cutting-edge video features don't come together easily, especially when you're trying to push performance boundaries. But beneath that, there's a bigger story. Nikon appears to be in the middle of a strategic shift. The company is no longer just competing in traditional photography, it's actively expanding into high-end video and cinema workflows. That transition takes time, and integrating those capabilities into a single flagship body is no small task. There's also the matter of expectations. The Z9 sets such a high benchmark that releasing a successor too early or without meaningful improvements could do more harm than good. In that sense, the delay might actually be a sign of caution rather than struggle. Still, the timing raises eyebrows. Major global events, particularly in sports, have historically been key moments for flagship camera launches. Missing those windows suggests that Nikon either isn't ready or isn't willing to rush. And that decision, while understandable, has consequences. For professionals who are planning upgrades around those timelines, the delay creates uncertainty. For competitors, it opens a window of opportunity. And for enthusiasts, it just adds to the growing sense of anticipation and impatience. At this point, the release timeline feels more like a moving target than a fixed plan. Early expectations pointed toward a relatively near-term announcement, but recent developments suggest a later debut, possibly toward the end of the cycle, rather than the beginning. Some even believe we might not see an official launch until 2027. That's a long wait, especially in a market that evolves as quickly as this one. Pricing is another area filled with speculation. The original Z9 launched at a premium, but it justified that price by offering a complete, uncompromised experience. The Z9 II, with its rumored upgrades, is unlikely to be cheaper. In fact, external factors could push the price even higher. Manufacturing costs, global economic pressures, and component availability all play a role. Apparently, the $5,500 price is what we're looking at. That said, pricing is always a balancing act. Go too high and you risk slowing adoption. Stay too close to the previous model and you might struggle to justify the upgrades. It's a delicate equation and one that Nikon will need to solve carefully. The Nikon Z9 II is caught in a fascinating position. On one hand, it has the potential to redefine what a flagship camera can be. Again, the rumored features suggest a machine that's faster, smarter, and more versatile than anything Nikon has produced before. If even half of those capabilities make it into the final product, it could be a serious contender across both photography and video domains. On the other hand, the delay complicates everything. Momentum matters in this industry. When excitement builds, timing becomes just as important as innovation. Waiting too long risks shifting the narrative from anticipation to frustration. And when competitors are constantly pushing forward, standing still, even temporarily, can feel like falling behind. Because the Z9 wasn't just another camera, it was a statement. It proved that Nikon could rethink everything, from removing the mechanical shutter to delivering serious hybrid performance without compromise. So naturally, expectations for its successor are sky high. But now, with delays creeping in and timelines shifting, the question isn't just what the Z9 II will be, it's when it will actually arrive and whether the wait will be worth it. But here's the thing, not all delays are bad. Sometimes they're necessary. Sometimes they're the difference between a good product and a great one. And sometimes they're a reminder that real innovation doesn't always follow a schedule. Until then, we wait. And in that waiting, expectations continue to grow. Thanks for watching.